This week, we're moving from poetry to drama. Like poetry, reading drama requires a bit more work than reading prose fiction. Dramas, for the most part, are written to be seen and not studied in a classroom, so when we read them, we have to fill in a lot of blanks. There often won't be much setting or exposition. The story relies on dialogue to further the plot and present the characters. As readers, we essentially have to be the director, the actor, the costumers, and the set designer all in one. That means that to find the meaning, there are a lot of decisions that we have to make. For our first play, we're going back to ancient Greece for Sophocles' Antigone. I've posted 2 required videos from the National Theatre in London that discuss the background of Greek theatre, and several optional ones from their production of Antigone, starring 2 different doctors for you Whovians out there. Because of that, I'm not going to go into the history here. The performance clips are not required, but I think they will be very useful, especially if you're not used to reading plays. This play is based on mythology that would have been well known to the contemporary audience, but since some of you are likely unfamiliar with it, it will be helpful to understand some context for the story. Antigone is a play based on a Greek myth about the royal family of Thebes. Well before the start of our play, the story starts with King Laos and Queen Jocasta, who were expecting their first child. They went to an oracle, a sort of prophet, who told them that the child would kill his father and marry his mother. Horrified, the couple decided that they needed to get rid of the child once it was born, but they couldn't bring themselves to kill him. So they abandoned him in the wilderness to starve. Luckily for the child, he was found by a shepherd who named him Oedipus and raised him as his own. When Oedipus reached adulthood, he decided that he wanted to go on an adventure. He headed for Thebes, which was beset by a monster called the Sphinx. On the way there, he met a group of men and they got in an argument. A fight resulted and Oedipus killed the group's leader. And if you guessed that the murdered man was King Laos, you would be correct. Oedipus, unaware that he had killed his birth father, continued to Thebes and defeated the Sphinx. He was welcomed as a hero, and the recently widowed queen married him so that he would become their leader. The prophecy was fulfilled. Oedipus and Jocasta lived in happy ignorance for years, until the kingdom's crops started to suffer. Oedipus decided that the downturn was due to the fact that the previous king's death had gone unavenged and set about to find the killer. Despite the fact that the blind seer Tiresias warned him to leave well enough alone, Oedipus was determined that he was right. When he discovered that not only had he been the one who killed the king, but the king was his father and the queen, his wife, and the mother of his 4 children was his mother, he gouged his own eyes out. Jocasta killed herself, and the couple's 2 sons inherited the throne. The sons, however, couldn't agree on the direction in which they should lead Thebes, and Autolycus took control and expelled his brother Polynices. Polynices gathered an army and attacked Thebes. Both brothers were killed in the ensuing battle. With both brothers dead, Jocasta's brother Creon took the throne. Creon, trying to bring his country back in order, sided with Autolycus and declared Polynices a traitor. He forbade anyone from giving Polynices a funeral, leaving his 2 sisters, Antigone and Ismene, torn between their love for their brother and their duty to their king. This is where the play picks up. As you read this week, I want you to think about the ways that the characters must decide between divergent values. Love of family versus loyalty to your country. Devotion to your religion versus obedience to your leader. Self-preservation versus doing what you think is right. Sophocles is asking a lot of questions that are pertinent not just to ancient Greece, but to our society today. To where do we owe our loyalty? How do we decide what's the right thing to do? Should I do the safe thing or the bold thing? The answers aren't any easier today than they were for Antigone, but they are questions worth asking ourselves. You'll have a chance to discuss the characters in your discussion board and, of course, in your weekly journal. Also, a gentle reminder that your second writing project is posted. It's not due for another 2 weeks, but you need to turn your draft into the tutoring center soon in order to get your comments back in time to be helpful. The options are the same as for your first writing project, but remember, whatever option you picked for that one, you cannot pick again. There are 2 options left. You will complete one for poetry and the other for drama. Choose wisely, and let me know if I can help.